Well, and I'm not, and they're both,
Cold.
did I dress it up? I just gave them a copy of what we, of that.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. 80
Oh, I got to turn my phone off.
ladies to, I start doing, start selling and things. I did that for 6 months before I quit.
I
You
got
ready?
6 still when I'm ready. Oh, wait. I gotta go turn my.
Playing baseball this summer? She playing baseball this summer?
Opt out.
I understand.
Oh, it's just you. You got your hands full. If you walked up them steps carrying her.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? Cambridge City Council now be in session. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was nice. Okay, a roll call, please.
Evancho.
Here.
Hill. Laufman. Leonard.
Here.
McMillan.
Here.
Wolverton.
Here.
Zaleski.
Here.
Reading the minutes.
Oh, we need to excuse council
Oh,
members Hill and
sorry,
Laufman.
sorry. My bad. Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we excuse Councilman Hill, Councilperson Hill, and Councilwoman Laughlin.
Mr. Zalinski.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Reading the minutes, Mr. Leonard.
I make a motion, we dispense the reading of the minutes and place on file.
Mr. Overton.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And that motion is granted. Mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Good evening, council. And looks like we've got a full house, kind of a little bit, everybody just moved down a little bit, balance it out. We got a little bit of everything here in front of me. Start out with number one on my list. It'd be request from the engineer to authorize and to receive bids and enter into an agreement for the Northwood Cemetery paving project. Two, request from Park to appropriate $3,658 donation from the Elks and place it into park equipment line for purchase of a golf cart. Three, request from the fire department to sign an agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for wildlife reporting. Wildfire, not wildlife. Okay, well, we can try that too. Number four, we got request from Utilities Director to approve auction of city-owned property.
Okay, number 1, 2, and 4 will be referred to the Finance Committee, and number 3 will be referred to City Services.
Okay? I've got here in my hand, and it's a list. This gives you an actual description of what streets are getting what. It's easy to say, well, we're doing $1,300,000 worth of streets, but where, what, in front of whose house, and over the hill, and all this kind of stuff. You'll see on there, like, some's to be sealed, and some's to be cement, and some's to be blacktop. And if you just sit down and look at it kind of in your mind, and honestly, drive your ward or think about it, and this is a major big step because we've been doing these projects last couple of years and we're getting back into the neighborhoods. Now, with that said, and we kind of saw it a little bit the other night, we do have some individuals a little strong, aggressive about in front of their house, and I get that. But when they measure, we bring a professional crew in here to analyze our streets and help us rate them. It's not something we just willy-nilly get up and decide, well, we like Joe over here, so we're going to take care of, no, we don't do any of all that. But now, with that said, the one that came in the other night, that's really terrible in front of his house. It really is. And we're gonna patch that again. And then we're hopefully gonna get that on the aggressive list for the next year or the year after that. And using different offense, and you'll see that when we talk about the cemetery stuff on how to do that. But, I just wanted you guys and girls to have that. I know I keep a couple in my cars. And being real, I was actually at lunchtime dropping off my granddaughter to babysitter, and a guy was walking his dog. And he said to me, Mayor, are we gonna do anything in the neighborhood this year? Or are we just gonna do these big projects? I said, well, we're gonna do the neighborhoods. And then I got to thinking, don't say it to him. It's not in front of his house. It's just not.
Mm.
But, you know, I get it. I get it. It's some of the fun of, you know, to get these positions. That's how it works. If you have not mowed your yard yet, you're behind. And I just want, on the camera here, get your mowers out. If you didn't mow, it's looking pretty shaky about now. And if you haven't mowed, chances are we'll be coming in shortly. We're going to try to be lenient till the spring cleanup, which, guess what? This weekend, Friday and Saturday, all day down there behind the street and water area. Bring her on down. Tire trailers down there, a few of them's free, and then a couple bucks after that on the rest of them. For some reason, I didn't think this was possible, but when you get your tires replaced, they give you a $5, bill you $5 on that. Well, they'll haul their tires home, save a $20 bill, and leave them in the backyard and let that pile up for a while. Then when we do it, we take 4 free, and then a couple bucks. I just never thought it would be that aggressive like that to stumble over 4, 5, or 10 tires in your backyard, but I guess that does happen. And if we don't do it, I don't know where they're going, and I don't want to guess. So that's Friday and Saturday. We are hosting Tree City USA, and I've asked the clerk to help me out there a little bit, and I believe she's put pamphlets in front of you. That's this week, Wednesday at St. Benedict's. It's like 9 to 2:30. Your sign-up's around 9, starts around 10. There's a luncheon host. I think Theo's is doing that. This is a big deal. We're going to get, 15, 20-some communities coming to see what we do and how we do it. There's a session on there. It says like breakouts. I think Tom Lanning's hosting one. I think Bridge is hosting one, and maybe the Arborist is also hosting one, where these people can pick what they want to go to. There's also going to be a bus available. They can check the Underground or the Cambridge Glass Museum. I think they've worked something out. Oh, Dickens. They want to go down and see the Dickens characters stored away and how we do that. A lot of towns are like really amazed by all that.
We
And it-
actually have, Mayor, I spoke with Kelly today, and we've got just about right at 100 people registered. So
That's,
it's a great turnout.
it makes you really feel kind of cool. And I think a couple of you guys are coming, so that's nice. Just a little, last Saturday, I was invited and asked to come down, and I did a proclamation for the Daughters of the American Revolution, which is a subliminal group, the Anna Ansbury Stone chapter. This has existed for almost all of our lifetimes. It's, just one of those service groups that make things stay decent in certain areas when other people can't do certain things. And it was an honor to go down there, and it really was a nice little turnout down there. So I want to thank them. Also, in the same week with spring cleanup, it's Arbor Day, Friday. So we're going to have a ceremony at the park like we've done in the past. We call it the Tree Memorial. Some people buy trees and donate them in the name of so-and-so. It's not going to be a large amount, but it's a decent amount. Personally, I'm going to try to be there at the moment we have that programmed, but I've talked to Bridget, and she's got my back. If I can't, I've got another obligation on Friday morning right at the same time this is scheduled. But in the past, we put a memorial paper together for the loved one and give it to them and mark the moment. If you go out through the park, I think you'll agree it's pretty impressive, some of the stuff that's out there. And it really endears people to our parks and their loved ones and different things like that. There is some ongoing flushing at the hydrant still going on. And for those that have seen that, sometimes it's at nighttime. So don't necessarily panic if you see a lot of water running down the street, although we did have a couple water breaks last week. And this little tidbit I got, I just want to let you know, I've received probably in the last 6 months, at least 3 or 4 contacts on the issue of chickens. In our in our code of the city, it says the mayor can allow people with a special permit. I have never done that, nor am I going to. But this little girl wrote me, and I just want to read this. We need to pass a new law in the city limits where each person can have a couple hens. They don't make a lot of noise and no more than dogs. With the price of food going up, it would help. Plus, a lot of people like me would donate the eggs to the needy, and no roosters, just hens. I just threw this out to you guys and girls because, hypothetically, I do think, if run correctly, that some people could pull this off. But we have trouble with the dog situation. I mean, we're only supposed to have 2 dogs per house, and we've got 4, 5, 8. Who knows? Sometimes there's so many dogs that people ran left, and the dogs are still there. But just been getting some contacts on that. And I think when you go to the store and you take a look at the prices of things, you see how it gets there. Anyhow, I want to invite up, make sure we say Chief Deeks is in the building. So it's all yours. Just come on up here. We got a big day coming up ahead of us, and we want to make sure we get the correct information out here. Chief,
Yep.
it's all yours.
All right, thank you. Evening, council. Jeff Deeks, Fire Chief. Live on North 10th Street, but if you ask my family, it's 902 Gaston Avenue. So anyhow, yeah, we do have a big day coming up next Tuesday, May 2nd. As you guys are aware, the EMS levy will be on the ballot, 3.2 mil. We've done everything that I can think possibly to get the word out, at least. Again, I'm sure there's going to be people surprised out there when they do go vote. Hopefully they do go vote with it. But again, we're still pushing strong on this. Matter of fact, just a few hours ago, I was up at the radio station talking to town and a little commercial or TV radio ad for the levy. So I wish I could tell you things are improving. They're not. They're still roughly about the same. Matter of fact, today we had to wait for a volunteer fire department to come in to get a lady transported to the hospital, and I'm sure that'll happen a few more times before the guys that are on duty today go home in the morning. So I just can't stress enough the importance of this. It's a 3.2 mil levy. It does not mean it's going to generate $3.2 million, as I've seen on social media, but it'll generate roughly around $600,000, a little over $600,000 if everyone pays their taxes. With that, we got to get the personnel to hire, because even we're not going to completely solve the problem with EMS, but we're definitely going to put it's going to help a lot for it. It's just been a challenging while now. Still some challenges out there we got to conquer, but that's okay, because a lot of times people they look at through a lens of what they see. They don't think they're ever going to need a fire truck or not going to need an ambulance, and I hope they never do. But when the time comes, and being Cambridge Fire Chief, I'm going to do everything I can for the city of Cambridge residents in Cambridge Township. We are Cambridge. I love Cambridge. I want the best for everyone in town. So we're working really hard, and I appreciate all the help from, I'm sure, council spreading the word, Safety Director Hill, Mayor, everybody that gets the word out for us amongst the public to know. So please get out and vote next Tuesday. If you live here, this is just for city residents only. So that's one of the things I wanted to stress. As far as the county, I don't know what the county's plans are, if they ever put one on, but that's just something that we'll have to look at down the road but it'll exclude city residents for it. So just also to reiterate, another good thing, if this levy passes, and once we get it, this money won't come in till 24. So we won't start operations, actually transporting, until at some point, probably in 24, when this levy passes. I'm going to be optimistic about it. So I'm tired of being pessimistic and hearing the pessimistic voices out there. So I'm going to be an optimist here. It's going to pass, hopefully. And so that's what we're looking at. is there any questions that you guys have or anyone has that I can,
Any questions for Chief Deeks?
I mean, most of you know, but I'm happy to answer anything that you might think of off the top of your head. I know I don't want to put you on the spot, but I just did, but.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, you have anything else? No? Nope. Nope. Yep.
Council have anything for me?
No, any questions for the mayor? Thank you both.
What time is the Arbor Day tree planting?
Starts at 9 o'clock sign in, but you could, I think it kicks off around 10 o'clock.
On Friday?
On
Yeah.
no, Wednesday.
No, the tree planting.
Tree planting is 10 o'clock at the park at the Archway.
Right.
Right there, welcome, new archway we put in.
Okay.
They saw fork put in.
Okay, thanks.
I wanted to mention also in the room tonight, we have one of our newest lieutenants, Wagner in the background there. Things have been a little difficult in that department. They've been working a little extra, to say the least. I saw him this morning when I came in, and he's here with us tonight, so I know what that's like sometime, but anyhow,
Yeah.
thanks for what you're doing, and glad you accepted the post.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to communications.
The only thing that I have tonight is the park board minutes from their March 8th meeting.
Ms. McMillan,
Motion to accept and place on file.
Mr. Vancho.
Second that motion.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Reports of committees.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that council approve the request to remove items from the fixed assets list under $5,000.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of City Services Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that council approve the solid waste management plan for the Southeastern Ohio Joint Solid Waste Management District.
Any reports, or any questions of the committee on that report, please? Thank you. Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that the following appropriations be approved. $10,470 to street services by contract, $8,391.85 to municipal court miscellaneous, $300 to police vehicle maintenance, $3,452.15 to police equipment, $14,402.77 to code enforcement services by contract.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that City Council authorize the auditor to seek permission from the state auditor to establish EMS fund.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that City Council authorize the administration to enter into contract for elevator replacement.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that City Council authorize the administration to sign settlement agreement for Project 19-03.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that City Council authorize the administration to apply to OWDA for water supply revolving loan account for lead service line project Phase 2.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 17th. We recommend that City Council authorize the administration to advertise for bids and enter into contract for lead service line replacement project Phase 2.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. Is there anything under unfinished business? If not, we'll go to the audience portion. Is there anybody that wishes to speak before council? Besides your little one? Please state your name and address, please.
I've had the opportunity to bring an audience to the same thing, but I guess it's maybe for a good reason. This is my youngest daughter, Tori. This is her older sister, Trinity. And my name is obviously David Gall with 831 Highlands.
Okay.
The reason I'm actually, this is kind of a unique situation, but it actually ties in with what the fire chief is trying to bring to this community, and what obviously city council has been working on, and also with the county, and the fact that how important it is to have our own emergency services, specifically ambulance, considering I can only imagine families that, especially in the last number of months, may have needed an ambulance for maybe a grandfather or grandmother, maybe needed an ambulance for a child, and they'd have to wait over 40 minutes in some cases before an ambulance would arrive. I'm fortunate enough where I have not had to experience that, and I choose not to experience that in the future. Because here's the difference. The difference is that we now have a choice on May 2nd, whether we take this levy and we have, when the going gets tough, we keep on moving forward, but we take advantage of the work that has been done, because the families prior to this didn't have a choice. They didn't know that, first of all, they may have not even been aware of the issues with our ambulance service here locally in the community. But, obviously when that situation arose, it became relevant. But now we have the opportunity, because the work has been put out there, to solve this issue, or at least address it to a certain degree. I think it's vital that you got to come out and vote. The community must come out and vote on this one, regardless of where your views are on it. I think it's critical, because at the end of the day, each individual is going to finally make a decision on how emergency services can affect this community, and including their own families. So with that, I'd just like to yield back, and again, appreciate the chief, the city, and the county for working on this and finding us a potential solution.
Thanks,
Thank you.
David. Anybody else? If not, we'll go to new business. Anything under new business? And since we don't have a full quorum tonight, we won't be able to do the ordinances and resolutions. However, we do have a special. Let's just,
I need to read them into the record for first reading.
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sharon. My bad. I just want to do it tomorrow and get it over with. Okay, go ahead.
Resolution to remove items from fixed assets list under $5,000.
Okay, that's placed on for second reading tomorrow night.
Resolution authorizing participation in the ODOT road salt contracts awarded in 2023.
Also referred to tomorrow night for the second reading.
Resolution to approve the solid waste management plan for the Southeastern Ohio Joint Solid Waste Management District.
Again, second reading tomorrow night.
An ordinance of transfers and appropriations.
Tomorrow, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the city auditor to seek permission from the state auditor to establish EMS funds.
Yeah, I'm trying to say this differently every time. It's getting difficult.
Reading them.
Tomorrow night, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to enter into contract for elevator replacement.
Second reading tomorrow night.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign settlement agreement for project 19-03.
Second reading tomorrow night.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to apply to OWDA for water supply revolving loan account for lead service line project Phase 2.
Tomorrow night, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to advertise for bids and enter into contract for lead service line replacement project Phase 2.
And finally, the second reading for tomorrow night, which will be a special session at 4:30 tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we'll go on to miscellaneous. Mr. Vancho?
Yes, Finance Committee will meet next Monday, May 1st at 4:30.
Overton?
City Services will meet at 4:45 or thereafter finance.
And anybody else under Mr. McMillan?
Yes, first of all, Mr. Gall, I'd like to thank you for your words and your support. That it means a lot. But I'd like to also take this time to thank Chief Deeks and his staff for their diligence and their hard work on getting this levy together and presenting it, putting it on the ballot. That it's taken a lot of work, and I know you're tired, and but we certainly appreciate that. And I also want to thank them for their work that they do out in our community, that responding to these calls, that unfortunately, when they do respond to a call, they can treat a patient and they can stabilize that patient, but unfortunately at this time, they cannot transport that patient. There's a critical need. I cannot stress that enough. There's a critical need in this community at this time. The time is here and now to address that need. when I hear that, a couple of weeks ago, we heard they had an unresponsive female, 52 minutes, 52 minutes it took to get a squad to that location to transport that patient. Another call that they had to call Tri-County Ambulance Service, which is up north, up 77, which is anywhere, granted, when you're traveling at the rate of a speed of an ambulance, I'm sure it's less than the 45 minutes or 40 minutes that it may take. We cannot continue at this rate. I urge and I commend or urge our citizens to get out and vote. This is real passionate with me. Our clerk has experienced it with her mother. The 3.2 mil, based on the valuation of my home, if I did my math correctly, my taxes will increase approximately 40 cents a day. I would rather pay 40 cents a day on my property taxes, knowing that my family, my neighbors, my loved ones have the service that they need to possibly transport them to the nearest care facility for further treatment. We heard last week at our committee meetings, and it was a public meeting, but it was not on the TV or the radio. Our police chief stood up here and urged us in our community and gave his support for that very levy. Our first responders and our law enforcement officers, they see this need every single day. I can remember several years ago when the law was coming into effect for seatbelts. Before it was click it or ticket, I remember one of the sayings that they gave was, put your seatbelt on, the life you save may be your own. And I keep referring back to that. Pass this levy. The life you save may be your own or that of a loved one. Get out and vote on May 2nd. Support our citizens and our community, and let's provide them with the care that they deserve. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Pellin. Anybody else? Mr. Leonard?
I want to go along with what Kim said. I want to thank Chief Deeks and his team for working on this levy and bringing it forward. I know we've held ward meetings in each of the wards and tried to get people out. I've talked to people that's in the community, neighbors, friends, coworkers and different people. And it amazes me how many people don't realize that we have a problem because they see the ambulances running up and down the street, but they don't really pay a lot of attention to what name's on them. And when I take the time to stand there and explain to them that those aren't, typical people that's coming in here. These are outside counties that's coming in to help protect and serve our residents here in town. And I shared at one of the meetings here a couple weeks ago a personal experience that I had and I know this is outside of the corporation limit, but a group of us was out at the Bears Den and we was eating, and a lady that was with us passed out at the Bears Den, and she turned blue. I mean, she just absolutely, her lips turned blue, her face was turning blue. We called 911 and they said, well, we will try to get somebody there for you. Okay. We waited and waited. Finally, the lady came to. We took her outside, laid her down in the back of a car. One of the people that we was with took off with her in her car and drove her to the hospital. We stood there in the parking lot and talked. Finally, a good friend of mine, Brian Triplett from Lower City, he's on the volunteer fire department out there. He showed up in his car, his personal car, with a pair of rubber gloves on, coming to help. He was the only person that was available, the only service that was available to be able to come out there and help that lady. What if she wouldn't have came to? What if that had been inside of our city limits? And what if it had been one of our family members? How would you have felt about that? I agree with Kim. This is a very, very serious and a very passionate issue for not just myself, but all of our citizens here. And If I didn't vote yes for this and something happened to one of my family members, I would regret that for the rest of my life. So with that being said, I'm going to ask the residents to get out and vote for this and support our community, support our people, and help us be self-sufficient and be able to take care of our family, our friends, and our neighbors. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jeff. Ms. Castor, please.
I hadn't intended to address the fire issue, but since it was brought up, I will. Now, Jeff, see, you're gonna make me get all emotional. I'm a fire girl from the time I was born. My daddy was a fireman, and yeah, he always loves it when I say I'm a fire girl. He says, "Do you tell that to the cops?" But they know I back the blue too. But and Kim is right. You know, we experienced this with my mother, not on one occasion, but on two occasions. And she lives in town. At the time, she lived in town, right in town. And we waited for, the first time we waited 20 minutes, and the second time we waited 40 minutes. And I'm very, very thankful that it was not, you know, life-threatening and nothing did happen to her. But it was pretty scary when I'm watching my mother have an issue and have to wait that long in Cambridge for a squad. So I also would encourage our residents to please, please, please support this. Our community deserves this. We have a great town here and we deserve quality care. But my second thing I wanted to announce is a lot of you know that I am the co-champion for LifeWise Guernsey, which is a program that authorizes the gospel to be presented to our school-aged children through a Supreme Court ruling that happened clear back in the 50s. And we are working very hard. A steering committee has been put together to work very hard to bring this to all 3 school districts in Guernsey County. We have the support of all 3 superintendents, all 3 building principals, and we're trying to get the word out. We held our first informational meeting last week. Our second informational meeting is this week for, it's advertised as Cambridge City Schools, but anybody can attend this meeting. It's at 7 o'clock at the YMCA. And we would just like to invite community members, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, anybody that wants to hear more information about LifeWise Guernsey and how this can benefit not just our school system, but our community in general. Please attend that meeting. And if you can't, reach out to me. I am passionate about this, and I would be more than happy to meet with anyone that would like to hear about this program. So this coming Thursday, the 27th at 7 o'clock at the Cambridge YMCA.
Okay. Thank you. It's a very, very, very forward-thinking. You'd be surprised how many people, how many children don't even know the name Jesus. That just amazes you. It's a great program. So, yeah, again, support the levy, support LifeWise. Just support our community. So, anybody else? Okay, thanks all. And Mr. Leonard.
Oh, I have one more thing I'd like to say. We're not getting out here that easy. Hey, I want to congratulate Lieutenant Fred Wagner back there as well for his promotion. I did my first ride along with him, and I want to tell you what. That gentleman right there represents all that is right with law enforcement. And hats off to him and his service and what he does. I really appreciate him. And as a fine, outstanding young man. Quit it, Chief Deeks.
All right.
And with that, I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
We are adjourned. We're still adjourned.